What did I say? What have I been predicting over the past month or so? Might have been 2 months at this point. Maybe a month and a half. We'll just say a month and a half. What did I say was going to happen to Oakland? Sooner rather than later. Sooner rather than later. That's right. I did say that. What I said was Oakland was going to fall into bankruptcy eventually. So much dismay and disrepair and disregard for authority and love and your streets and taxpayers. I've been saying since the beginning of time, the Oakland takeover is already here. You can fight it. You can deny it. You can act like it won't exist. You can act like it's not going to happen. You can sit here and go back and forth with me. We can argue about it. But I'm not the one that is running the city into the ground. And what is the first step? How do I know that it's the first step? How do I know that it's the first step? Well, I've seen it happen in Pontiac, Michigan. I've seen it happen in Detroit. And what happens is it slowly but surely starts with the budget. Then it goes with crime. And then we start looking at corruption and raids. I'm from Michigan. I'm from Detroit. I've seen this play out 100% of the time. I wish that they had a Vegas bet so that I could make millions of dollars for this because I will bet the house on this. And then you start seeing a defunding of the police. You see more homelessness, right? The devaluing of properties. Businesses start leaving. Sports teams no longer want to be there. And the next thing you know, what's the next step? The very next step is that they can no longer police themselves. Somebody told me that is less than 30 officers. I don't know how true this is, but I'm just going to say it because that's what they said. Somebody told me it was 34 or less than 30 officers on a shift, per shift, to patrol the entire city of Oakland. Somebody told me that 30 officers or less are there, and that includes administrative, that includes the people that are overseeing the jail. They said 30 officers are left in Oakland per shift to patrol the entire city. And now the takeover begins because California and Gavin Newsom, who is the architect of a bad city, is now coming in and saying, listen, Oakland can't even police itself no more. They can't even afford police. They are operating at a budget deficit. And so what we're going to do is we're going to now have the California Highway Patrol, the staties, are coming in to police Oakland. Next thing you know, it's going to be the schools. It's all going down. It's all going bad. I'm telling you that Oakland will be the next major city, not small city, but major city to eventually file for bankruptcy. Make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. First of all, I want to show you what is happening in Oakland and what they can't catch and why they're not even looking for criminals because of this type of behavior happening right here.
This is a tragic and sad incident. And I'll say this, these are the actions of a coward. Yeah, our officers are hurt. We have, immediately last night, we called out our peer support teams. Our officers they're professionals, but they're also human beings. And so they are doing their best that they can, but they're going to stay focused on making sure that this family receives the justice that they deserve.
This tragic domestic incident played out on Kitty Hawk Road in Alameda on Wednesday night. Police believe the man shot and killed his wife, father-in-law, mother-in-law, and his 6-year-old son. A second 1-year-old boy was also shot and is in the hospital in critical.
Now, this is not Oakland. This is Alameda police. But this is happening. This is the type of behavior that's happening in California, y'all.
Condition. As you can imagine, neighbors are shaken up by this tragedy. Some tell me they heard the gunshots last night, but thought it was fireworks left over from the 4th of July. Unfortunately, it was much more gruesome than that.
I raised my kids here. I'm a mom, I'm a grandma.
Is that Wilson in the back? Is that Wilson?
And you can't process how that happens. And I can't. Yeah, it's too much.
That's Yeah, that's pretty unbelievable, we take for granted our safety here. Like I said, we go out for walks early in the morning, and we live with with our family. We know our neighbors, and to know that this type of violence took place here is pretty scary.
And police say the suspect did not resist, is in custody now, and is no longer a danger. We're told the family had recently moved to that home. The police chief says multiple shots were fired and that they found multiple firearms in the home. Police are not releasing the suspect's name yet, but tell me he will be charged with murder and attempted murder. And the police chief says the father-in-law made it out of the home, went to the neighbor's home to ask for help, and made
Father-in-law.
some statements that they are now reviewing. It's unclear what led
The father-in-law.
up to this tragedy, but just so sad. And as you can imagine, so many neighbors have come up to us and are just so saddened by what.
Well, we don't have to worry about it because we know that Gavin Newsom is 100% going to save us. So what Gavin Newsom decided yesterday was that they are now going to officially go and help the city of Oakland, even though they operate at a budget deficit also, to the tune of, what is it, a few $1 billion, $65 billion or something like that, $43 billion? I don't remember what it is, but check it out.
Acceptable lawlessness. That is how Governor Newsom describes the situation right now in the city of Oakland. He traveled here today to announce the moves the state is making to help the city. KTVU's Tom Vakar live tonight with the latest from Governor Newsom. Tom.
Well, that move is more troops, but it did come with some rebukes. Governor Newsom called reporters to an Oakland towing yard to announce that he's increasing the deployment of CHP officers in Oakland, doing all manner of police work in Oakland and the East Bay.
Patrol.
Hey, homie he did a press conference to announce that Oakland is a POS. Oakland is a POS, and he did his press conference in front of a tow yard.
In Oakland's hotspots, including some of the ones on Broadway, Hagenberger area, multi-agency sideshow street racing operations, combating vehicle theft, recovering stolen cargo containers at the Port of Oakland, tackling fencing operations at Oakland flea markets, and combating commercial vehicle violations in or about Oakland.
So far, the CHP has recovered 1,142 stolen cars, arrested 562 suspects, and seized 55 crime-linked guns.
Well, let me ask y'all a question, because you can put all of the police over there that you want, right? And you can say, okay, well, now California Highway Patrol and the state is going to now patrol Oakland because you are basically a failed city. You are a failed city, right? If the actual prosecution of the criminals and the laws don't change and you continue to let everybody out of jail and they can basically have no bond and be free tomorrow regardless of whether or not you arrest them or they steal a car or they out here robbing people or whatever, then what good will it do? What's the difference if they can still get out and you haven't changed the laws to then support the police officers that ultimately are the ones that's on the front lines doing the hard work and trying to catch these criminals in the first place?
Now, even more CHP police power in Oakland.
We're going to move the California Highway Patrol from 42 shifts that they're currently operating in Oakland. We're going to increase that fourfold. We're going to have 162 shifts starting next week. We're going to focus over the course of the next 4 months.
To assure that those caught are really held accountable, the governor sent a notice to Alameda County District Attorney Pamela Price that the state's attorneys he offered to assist the DA will be brought back into the Attorney General's office.
Yes, we've been disappointed, the lack of engagement with the DA's office, and so we're moving forward. Rather than complaining about it, rather than lamenting about it, we're going to be moving some of the prosecution to the state of California, the Attorney General's office. We needed just to pull the plug at this stage and do something that we know will work with the AG's office.
At a Thursday afternoon press conference, District Attorney Pamela Price said this.
I cannot speak to the governor's disappointment. As I say, I'm disappointed that the governor did not reach out to me directly, and I'm disappointed that the governor did not acknowledge the efforts that our office is making.
State attorneys will prosecute Oakland cases that are complex and time-consuming. As to beleaguered Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao, Newsom says she was cooperative with the CHP coming to Oakland, but the timing of his assistance will end just before the November recall election.
We can't be here forever. We're here for the next 4 months, and we'll see what happens in the next 4 months. But we said we were firm in our commitment. We weren't going to walk away.
Mayor Tao issued this statement of gratitude to Governor Newsom for the new resources. She said after years of rising crime rates.
Wait a minute. Just the other day. Hold on. Wait. Give me a second. Now I got to do some digging. Because somebody out here lying. Somebody is out here lying. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, I got a pretty good memory. And this is why I like to do this in real time. If my memory serves me correctly, I remember somebody else saying that the crime rate was actually down 70%. Okay, so wait a minute. Let me go back. Give me a second.
Or would you move like in and out?
Oakland City Council member Treva Reed represents this district. She went to the 76 gas station on Monday to meet with the owner.
It has really shaken us in the midst of seeing a 70% plus reduction in crime.
Who's lying here? Okay, I called it when she said it because that was a trigger word. A trigger number, 70% reduction in crime. Okay, so wait a minute. Let me replay it again. This is the gas station that they caused over $100,000 in damage and $22,000 stolen out of the ATM, okay? So this is what she said.
Shaking us in the midst of seeing a 70% plus reduction in crime.
Okay, so she says, this woman right here said that there's a 70% reduction in crime in Oakland. All right? Mayor Sheng Tao comes through and says, after years of rising crime rates. What? How are you seeing a steady decrease, but you still need the Oakland Police Department to be policed by the California Highway Patrol in order for y'all to ultimately... Come on, man. Come on, bro. Listen, y'all gonna have to get y'all people together, get y'all lives together. We don't believe you. You need more people. They basically telling us that y'all robbing, stealing, killing, and is lawless out here in these streets. What are you talking about? They cooking the books over there in Oakland, man.
We are seeing a steady decrease, and we know that this is in part because of the strong partnership between the Oakland Police Department and the California Highway Patrol.
Let's go to the actual press conference itself so we can actually see what gruesome Newsom had to say. And you know that this guy is ultimately angling to one day become president of the United States of America, right?
Welcome, and thanks for coming out. My name is Sean. Today by our Governor Gavin on our team of officers to Oakland to assist the Oakland Police Department. Highway violence, organized crime, invusive enforcement, targeting.
So this is what they're going to target from a crime perspective because everything has completely gotten out of control. So much so that he basically rebuked the police department and almost rebuked the mayor itself, but he know that the FBI is already dealing with that.
Vehicle theft, highway violence, organized crime, in-view patrol. We called this Operation Safe Streets. Operation Safe Streets laid the groundwork for our larger law enforcement surge back in February of this year when we deployed 120 officers and investigators to the greater East Bay. This was a joint effort with our partners throughout Alameda County and Oakland, including Oakland Police Department, Alameda County Sheriffs. During this surge, our officers conducted a variety of enforcement operations focused on traffic safety, auto theft, retail theft, cargo theft. These are central to the CHP's mission of providing the highest level of safety, service, and security to the people of California. The February operation was a success. and yielded impressive results quickly, leading to the formation of a CHP dedicated crime suppression team in the East Bay. This team has been patrolling Oakland's hotspots, including some of the ones on Broadway, Hagenberger area, all in addition to the work of the CHP's Golden Gates Special Services Unit, which is conducting.
I want to hear
Turn it over to the governor.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chief, and thank you to Commissioner. Thank you to men and women of the Oakland Police Department, our partners in this effort. As the Commissioner noted, we initiated some proactive policing late last year here in Oakland. We stepped that up significantly in February with an operation to target and to saturate areas of Oakland with aggressive policing that addressed some of the heightened concerns that many of the residents and business leaders had experienced. We saw great initial success. We committed not to turn our back and walk away to the people of Oakland, but we were sober about the fact that the CHP has operations all across the state of California and cannot supplement the work that's done by local law enforcement, but can enhance it. Our job was to focus here on Oakland, but also to focus on other regions, including areas in and around the Bay Area. Regions, by the way, now across the state that include Bakersfield, where we've been running similar operations. The last 2 weeks we've been down in Riverside. We'll be talking, highlighting more about the success of that early operation, or at least the success of the last few weeks, the early part of that operation in the coming weeks and days. But we're back here in Oakland, mindful that there's still more work to be done, mindful that we need to step up our efforts and step up our resources. We're going to move the California Highway Patrol from 42 shifts that they're currently operating in Oakland. We're going to increase that fourfold. We're going to have 162 shifts starting next week. We're going to focus over the course of the next 4 months. This is not a permanent operation. It can't be a permanent operation. It's not the job of the California Highway Patrol. But over the course of the next 4 months, we're committing to keep up the intensity of this operation that, as the Commissioner noted, has already generated 1,162 stolen vehicles that have been recovered, 1,162, 562 arrests, as the Commissioner noted, and now 56 guns that are linked to crimes specifically. That's the
How many of them are still on the street? That's the question that I would ask them.
Operation to date. It's been successful, and now we're moving into this next phase. We also are mindful that we need to be more aggressive as it relates to the investigations and accountability, the prosecutions of some of these cases. Yes, we've been disappointed, the lack of engagement with the DA's office, and so we're moving forward. Rather than complaining about it, rather than lamenting about it, we're going to be moving some of the prosecution to the state of California, the Attorney General's office, for, again, targeted prosecution. This is not the job of the AG's office to assume all the responsibility of the Alameda County DA's office, quite the contrary. But we want to lessen the load. We want to address some of the more complex cases. So we'll take case by case. The AG's office could talk more about specific cases another time, but the idea is to supplement and support those efforts at the local DA's office to move forward. Unfortunately, our offer to provide California CalGuard, which we refer to as JAGS, along the lines of what we did very successfully in partnership with Brooke Jenkins in San Francisco, that was not enthusiastically embraced. So we have to move forward with a new approach with our Attorney General and our Department of Justice. So we're moving in that direction as well. I'll remind folks that this was not just a law enforcement only program, quite the contrary. I met with leaders in the community, and we said this was a holistic, bottom-up approach. Those ongoing, unprecedented investments in community building continue. We were able to hold the line broadly with our 2-year budget, balanced budget, not just for this year, but next year, and maintaining the vast majority of those investments here in Oakland and Alameda. That includes a 10-point plan with Caltrans on beautification, on cleaning up. I've been very directly involved in that. I feel like I'm mayor again, back out there on the streets, rolling up my sleeves.
Never an opportunity to continue to promote yourself. Never an opportunity to continue to promote yourself. Under your leadership, sir, San Francisco failed. San Francisco absolutely became destructive. We've seen a continued deceleration of progress inside of San Francisco prior to you becoming governor of California. And now California is failing. But he never misses an opportunity to continue to promote himself, though.
He's cleaning up some of these streets and encampments and doing some of the beautification work. That work continues. We're not walking away from that as well. But look, I'm not the mayor of Oakland. I'm not a member of the County Board of Supervisors of Alameda County. Our job is not to substitute, but again, to support the work that's being done. I want to thank the mayor's office for being a partner in these proactive programs as it relates to the policing, not a sparring partner, a working partner as it relates to these works. And that's why I'm very grateful the chief is here, and I'm very grateful for the partnership and the open hand of support the chief has provided the men and women from the Highway Patrol. Final point, just deep respect for our Highway Patrol. I've been saying this over and over and over again.
All right, this is the switch. He's just going to be taking questions after that. Sylvia says, none of this matters if they continue to catch and release criminals. The problem with what's happening in Oakland, and again, I've witnessed this and watched this in real time in my lifetime in several different cities, is that A, you're right. It doesn't matter if they catch and release the criminals because you can't solve a problem by continuing to allow for the people that are perpetuators of crime and lawlessness to go back on the streets. That's A. The second problem with this whole thing is that this is not a permanent solution. This is a temporary stopgap, which they then will use and champion and say, hey, man, we reduced crime by 70% for 4 months. For 4 months. You reduce crime because now the people are going to be back on the streets. Also, you don't have the budget. Secondly, the businesses and the business leaders in the community still don't believe in you. And just because you provide temporary help in the California Highway Patrol does not mean that the city is going to be solvent. It doesn't mean that they're going to have recruitments. Doesn't mean that the police academy will be able to have the budget to even support police going over to Oakland in the first place. And more importantly, you have unstable leadership in Mayor Shane Tom. So I'll continue to watch as Oakland continues to fall further and further into disrepair. And then I got my money on Oakland for being the next major city to file for bankruptcy, even in a supposedly good economy. All right. Thank you, Sylvia. I'm definitely about to be reading the super chat shortly because this is a SIT show.